All right, you're asking for it, so here it is.
Epicast.
Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet.
All right. Welcome to the 216th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Los Angeles Lakers episode because they have 16 chips. We trying to get to 16 chips, and they just signed Anthony Davis. So my boy LeBron gonna get another chip. And our guests, good team of folks, winning championships, all about putting together a good organization. I think that's a good way to bring us in, right?
Nice, yeah.
Makes sense. I'm happy
Yeah,
hosting
yeah.
Tandem Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play,
Googleable.
and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 216 episodes, man. We've been asking y'all, man. We will continue to ask you. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review. Hop on Facebook and rate and review, man. You can rate pages on Facebook. Apparently you can, man. Hop on Facebook and iTunes, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well, man. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
You know what's about to happen, right? You love us. You see us in public. You tell us that you love us. Now,
Yeah.
at the click of a button, please tell the internet. Please tell the world. And as always, all right, 215 times we've said it. This will be the 216th time. I'll probably said it another 3,000 times just in passing. In lieu of rates and reviews, we do accept shots of Hennessy. Shout out to Car Guy DJ and the Conways for starting the trend. Shout out to everybody who's kept that trend going. Shout out to everyone who's ever supported anything that we've ever done, including those who came to Contra Theater last night. You were subject to a treat there. That was a hell of a show, man. We had the boy John Dick Winters headlining. He closed it out well. We had Susan Lawrence. We had Eric Nesby. They hosted. I even did a guest set.
We had both partners on the same stage. I don't have.
We don't do that too often anymore.
Don't happen too often.
That's our way of being bougie a little bit. Like, you ain't gonna get us both for one ticket. Like, that's what we try
It's
to.
one or the other, but y'all was treated a little something, man. I mean, like, you had of all the places that you could have been, you chose to be there last night, so we appreciate y'all, and we hope to see you guys again. If you're looking for us next month, we will be down at Arcade Comedy Theater,
July 20th.
July 20th. We got Dominique Greer, coming out from DC with his entourage,
chillin', PG chillin',
and we got Hot Farm actually coming through with their residency down in Arcade, starting that. So come down there, and again, we're going to keep saying it because for
people
some reason,
don't understand it.
People show up and like they don't get it. I'm like, did you read the flyer? Like, but listen, it's free beer. Free craft beer provided this month by Hot Farm and BYOB.
That's and ampersand. In addition to, that means you can bring yours. We'll bring some too. All right, we bring the funny and we bring some.
I mean, we'll do a little bottle share or something like that. You like wine? Cool.
I don't know, man.
Like,
People be loud with the bottle shares. I don't want nobody just doing the whole bottle share at the back of the show. You gotta do that shit before.
No. Don't do it during the show because then we'll crack on you and we'll probably take your beer off you. You know what I mean, so
Whoa, no robberies happening.
Yeah, ain't no robberies.
I'm just saying you gotta be careful. Us on the flyer,
man.
we gonna take your beer off. We gonna crack on you and take your beer off.
Yeah.
Or you trying to get us arrested, bro?
Maybe. Did you listen? Maybe. I don't know.
Dave's speaking for himself, but what I will do is invite you to our show that following week, July 27th at Contra Theater. We got Helen Wilde headlining, man. You got to come catch her because she'll be heading out to, I believe it's Seattle. I think it's Seattle she's moving up. She's making that move to the West Coast. Funny lady, man. You got to come catch her. And we'll have Union Brothers sponsoring that show again. BYOB and Ampersand, in addition to craft beer samples. Union Brothers, they bring a ton,
man.
So
they bring a nice.
You ain't gonna bring a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, and they've got I've been trying to get my fiance to drink beer for like 7 years, and they finally brewed. They got this strawberry lemonade brew that they make. Finally had a beer that she actually likes, man. Like
what?
And, she was like,
what?
I can drink this. I was like, what?
They had to go to great lengths to get her into strawberry lemonade beers. That's wow.
And then when you mix it, they got this hazy IPA, and you throw the cuvee in there. It's called the strawberry lemonade is sauce, and then the IPA is Stranger Things. So I make this Stranger Sauce. Yeah, that little cuvee
See what you
there.
did
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
I see what you
get
did
that
there.
little bit of, you get the little strawberry lemonade out here.
Stranger
that
sauce
bitch, yo.
sounds like the shit they got to do to indict him. That's something the feds look for. They got a black light for some stranger sauce. Stranger sauce on the sheets. Like, wait a minute, we got a different strand here. Oh man,
But we may have to change it to saucy things.
that's
I don't
not
know.
any better. I don't know what's going. I don't know what's happening in the studio today. We just had a run in and by somebody just said shit. It just got worse and worse and worse.
But they was actually pouring it up at Beers of the Berg. Shout out to Beers of the Berg for having us down there or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean it's a great time. So if you're looking for tickets, like I said, Arcade Comedy Theater on the 20th. That's arcadecomedytheater.com, and then comtratheater.ticketleap.com for the 27th, man. And then if you're shortly afterwards, I believe coming up is the first Black Beer Festival in America, Fresh Fest. August 10th, 2019, man. We got 28 black brewers coming in. We got 45 local collaborations. We've got 15 live artists, 6 musicians, 4 DJs, 1 podcast featuring the Garrett Oliver, man. It's gonna be the best festival.
It's gonna be a movie
In America. I'm not even not even just Pittsburgh, not even PA. This is going to be the best festival in America. It's already named second best.
Claim it.
Second best by USA Today. I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, like, so this year we going for first. And man, super
First
excited.
best. That's a weird phrase. We're going for first best festival. The first best Fresh Fest. Yeah, it's gonna be a movie though. Make sure you get your tickets, man. They're going fast. But like, if you was there last year, you already know what time it is, man.
Yeah, I feel like somebody asked me, it was like, you know, like, yo, can people get tickets at the door? And I'm like, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, waiting that long, like,
You know our people. We got to get our people out of getting them at the door.
Yeah.
You know, we want that door thing because we just waiting for a miracle.
Yeah.
We waiting for that final giveaway. somebody to scalp some tickets for the free. Like, man, I gotta run. My son being born.
I need tickets. I need Fresh Fest tickets. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe get them from the scalpers. But look, man, these things are going. They're going fast. I just checked VIP. There's only 50 of those left out of 150. There's 3,000 tickets total. Only 150 VIP because it's like a real VIP.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that.
Yeah, you
like
feel
a
important.
real. And we got Chef Kwame. Now I'm gonna try to just Onwuachi. I want to say Onwuachi. Kwame Onwuachi. He's a James
That's an
Beard
ambitious
award-winning
undertaking.
executive chef. He's got
That's an
just
ambitious
came off a Daily Show, and I mean he's been one of the top chefs on TV.
He got to have a
he's one of
mean-ass
them-
nickname.
Yeah, just Kwame.
He ain't Chef Kwame?
He's just Chef Kwame.
Right.
We got Chef.
Why
Chef
you
Kwame.
ain't just say that?
I don't know. I don't know him all like that.
Now
I ain't
Buzzy
wanna-
gotta
I ain't
do
wanna
more edits.
Act like I was his friend.
You got to edit every syllable you just attempted. It's a hell of an edit job Buzzy got to do.
Yo, come to that VIP. He's catering that event. Shout out to Guinness. I mean, throwing down on the sponsorship for that. But like, yeah, I mean, you got DJ Nate the Barber. We got Chef Kwame, and then we got Garrett Oliver. That's just to start it off.
Yeah, that's just before. That's the prelude. And then there's the festival
Then
that
there's
will
stuff.
happen. There's
There's
all the
stuff.
swag that happens on the lawn, and it's a movie, man. I'm excited. It's coming close too.
If you ain't there, then you shit, man.
If you know,
You'll
you
be mad.
know.
You'll be mad. Like, listen, if you got a wedding that weekend, man, you better maybe cancel.
That's all right. They'll be together forever.
Yeah,
You ain't got to be there the day that it happened.
True.
I got to be there the day you
Yeah,
decide. Y'all
I
gonna
mean-
keep coming to the same cookout every year.
Yeah, you send that president in. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just as long as you get they just care about the registry. They don't give a fuck about whether you actually come.
I don't
man.
even know if the shit you said on that altar is legally binding. Didn't y'all have to sign something to make this legal? This whole little song and dance didn't even have to happen.
Like, who's doing this? Who's officiating this wedding? Is they cleared for this? I
Oh,
don't
you
even-
ever seen like somebody homeboy officiate the
Yeah.
wedding? Like he gets certified right before the wedding? Like, yeah, that marriage ain't gonna make it. If your homie from high school officiates your wedding and he just got the clearance that week before, yeah, y'all
Hey,
doomed.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
Y'all gonna have to split that toaster. Y'all gonna have to settle that in the divorce settlement. All right, we running like so. We got some VIP. Speaking of VIP, we got some VIPs in the building. Coming off the Our Next 75 with Allegheny Conference, we have the Chief Corporate Relations Officer, Bill Flanagan.
How you do?
And we have co-chair of our Next 75, Jeff Broadhurst, in the building. Say what up to the people.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. So many syllables in that introduction.
Yes, it was.
God damn,
it is
boy.
indicative of
I
the
am
callers.
Sweating in this month. Yeah, they look like they can do some business after this.
Well, I'm hearing you guys talk to Jeff. I thought we had one hell of a party the other day after our big summit, but I'm hearing you guys talking. I think we're missing the real party.
Oh, so
You are.
You haven't missed
ain't
it.
missed
You ain't missed it yet.
Yeah, it's August 10th.
Okay, still got a shot. All right. very
plenty
good.
of time.
We'll build up to it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we ain't talking about that in the past. So tell
We
us,
get free tickets out front.
somebody who bought tickets might give you a
Not to white men with collars. Like,
Yeah, no, y'all, you got the full price of admission collar on. Yeah. When you got the polo that also is weather, like sweat resistant,
yeah,
bro,
it
that's
wicks away.
yeah,
I mean,
that's a hell of a polo you got on. That's a,
new age materials in there.
that's a giveaway at a corporate retreat polo. I know what that polo is. That came with a little bit of paper mache around it. That ain't come off the rack. We know you're tight. We got you. So tell us about Allegheny Conference, what you all do, what's the mission of the organization?
You know, it's basically economic development. The organization's been around for 75 years. The whole job is to improve the economy and the quality of life in southwestern Pennsylvania. We've been at it from the days of the Smoky City in the 1940s when street lights burned 24/7. Businessmen would wear an extra white shirt to work every day. They'd change their shirt at lunchtime.
Yeah, because they used to get dirty.
They would their collar would turn gray. So the Allegheny
and their lungs.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even want to think about what they were breathing.
Wash your necks.
But
damn
at least they look sharp, though. That was the point, right? What crap was in your lungs? But man, they look right. That was sort of the
Showed
Pittsburgh
up to the
style.
doctor's office fresh.
with a fresh boy they just put on at noon.
So what happened was back in the 40s, the middle of World War II, a bunch of the big CEOs in town got together and said, we got to do something to clean the place up. So they came together to form a committee, what they called for post-war planning, and they cleaned up the smoky skies and they got the pollution out of the rivers and ultimately set the course for Pittsburgh's, much improved environment that we all live in today. So it was about collaboration. It was about public-private partnership. It was really about putting the community first. And that's kind of what the organization stood for 75 years. And so we decided for the anniversary, we needed to do something special. So we invited 1,000 of our closest friends to come and talk about the future.
Okay. So that's the RNext 75?
That's the RNext 75. Yeah.
So where did that take place? Because I know that just happened, on the 27th, so we just missed that.
You just missed it. It was down at the Wyndham, the largest ballroom in the city.
A lot of shirts like that in the Wyndham.
Yeah.
There were a lot.
Although that day there were a lot of different kinds of shirts. It was pretty cool. It was not all just the suits.
Yeah, no, I want to get to the point where we can go to those parties with the people that move the economy. Like I want to see those parties, those after parties.
Well, next time you guys are coming. I'm sorry we missed you. We missed you with the invitation.
Put
man.
it on wax. You got our invitation.
Don't
This
edit
is
that.
pre-felony, Ed. I got the invitation. After the felony, I get the email like, yes, about that.
Sounded good at the time.
We've decided to go in a different direction. And so I mean, like, so I still don't fully. So, like, what are some of the discussions that you guys are having at this event? I mean, and like, like what separates it from, say, other outreach programs or events that are going on in the city now?
Sure. Probably the biggest difference was just the amount of people and the kind of people that we had there. As Bill referenced, 75 years ago, it was mostly just white CEOs sitting in a room making decisions. We had over 1,000 people. When I looked in that room, it was one of the most diverse audiences we've ever had. And it's all about trying to plan the next 10, 15, 75 years together and really pulling in, understanding what people are already doing, what some people could use help on, and how we all collaborate together.
So we had we had people there from all over southwestern Pennsylvania, 10 counties. We had there from all over the city of Pittsburgh, all the different neighborhoods, and they're all kind of there together comparing notes, trying to figure out, well, what do we really have going for us? What gives Pittsburgh an opportunity to be really successful in the future? And then how are we going to get there, And then finally, are we going to work together? Can we find ways to support each other and maybe move this region forward so that we can be sure we can, compete with the other cities in the country that in some cases are doing better than us, and we're not willing to settle for that. So, how do we do better?
Yeah, so what are some of the challenges that you're looking to attack? Because, I mean, you said in the origin, you're talking about black lung, trying to clean up the environment, like the actual physical environment. Now with the economic environment, there's a lot of tension here, I would imagine, with Pittsburgh. The G word, gentrification, is thrown around often. So how do you all, lend yourself to combating that?
Yeah, you got two different dynamics, really. Well, more than two playing out, but you mentioned one of them. The whole idea of sort of the black and white and the older neighborhoods that are being gentrified and what that's going to do to people, how they're going to be displaced. But the other piece that people sometimes forget, it's also urban and rural. I mean, that what's happening outside Allegheny County, they're struggling in their own way in a lot of respects. And so, how do we bring along the more rural areas with the urban core, where there's a lot of good things happening, and then how do we make sure everybody in the urban core is really sharing in the prosperity and helping to drive the region to the future? Those are the big questions.
No, they are, and really. We actually did 3 regional summits leading up to this also. So we had about another 250 people from the various walks of life at those as well. So between now and the end of the year, really December, when we've got a big annual meeting, we're going to pull together lots of the data that we received here, the other 3 summits and some other research projects, and try to put together really the next 3 years of the agenda for the Allegheny Conference and the whole 10-county region is really what's driving it. So, and then we can ultimately do it all together. So.
What are some lessons that you've learned from other regions? Because I mean, we go with this, this learn globally, apply locally kind of like mentality, where we can learn lessons from other places to kind of incorporate into our city and our and our region. So, what are some of those lessons that you've learned outside of this that have been successful that you may want to see implemented here in the region?
Yeah, there's some great things happening across the country, and in fact, although things are kind of okay here right now, we've been doing better recently. Obviously, the national economy's we're doing okay, and our region's doing fine in its own right. But you look at other places we compete with, and I'm not just talking Denver or Seattle or Austin. You look at places like Cincinnati and St. Louis, and whether you look at how fast their economy's growing. Whether you look at issues of wage disparity between poorer and richer people, there are a lot of places across the country that are getting it more right than we are right now. And so the questions we all got to ask ourselves is, look, if we really want to be a world beater, if we want to lead, we're going to have to sort out some of the issues that are holding us back and not putting us in a position where we can compete as well as those other places.
Yeah, like so Pittsburgh, they always brag about being voted most livable, but I know a lot of people that don't feel that way. Like, how do we get to being livable for everybody? Because it's livable for people with money that can exploit the fact that shit don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. If you got a Maserati in Pittsburgh, it's livable.
It don't make any fucking sense. Listen, stop driving. Stop driving these expensive cars on these terrible streets, dog. Your exhaust suspension is all fucked up.
I don't get the low riding motherfucker. I'd be like, ooh, like
I was in college. Dude had a Lamborghini on Pitt's campus. I said, bro, you drive from Oakland Ave to Fifth Avenue. That's the only place you
ain't going in. You ain't going into any driveways in this motherfucker. That shit skirt is like it's tough. But I mean, how do we make it a bit more, equitable in that regard?
Well, it's interesting. I've been here Jeff's a native. I've been here for almost 40 years now. So I came here at the bottom of the steel bust, in the early 1980s. I came here to work for KDKA TV. So I was a reporter for a number of years. And I think the region did a really smart thing. They decided back in the 80s, let's focus on tech. We got all these wonderful resources in the universities. Let's unlock that potential. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can create companies. Let's see if we can, bring new technologies to market. And we'll bring the region back out of the hole we fell into. And that was good, and it was smart, and ultimately it worked, and we got back out of the hole. The trouble is, because we did that, we actually made disparity worse. If you didn't have the skills to play in that tech space as that was blossoming and becoming more and more important, you're more and more out of it than you were. It's not unique to Pittsburgh. This is played out. You go to Seattle for crying out loud. I mean, you go to Seattle and the disparities.
Isn't that where Google set up?
Yeah, and you can't even afford to live in some of those places. Yeah, Amazon and Google's in Mountain View and some of those places, and they've seen it play out on a grand scale. But even here in Pittsburgh, we found that over time that strategy has left a lot of people on the outside. So how do we get, as we move forward, how do we give people some opportunities where they can plug in and really take it? And we heard that we heard those kinds of concerns loud and clear at the summit. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. And we think about the regional things. The one thing that stood, and we got to dig into it more, is transportation.
Oh,
You
man.
just hit a hot button issue for
man.
Day's nipples just got hard.
Yo,
Transportation.
376 was closed yesterday, man. Like, I'm like, so nobody using this? Like the whole, like, it's such a
376 can't be closed.
And I just saw a report saying something about like how, like, you know, like some billions of like they
it disappeared or
like was like diverted to like the state police, and like that's why, like, you know what I mean, a lot of our bridges and infrastructure weren't, you know what I mean, and like, and sometimes, and here's my thing, right? I feel like there's rampant corruption, because I saw there's the new Nutcracker plant over here in Beaver or whatever. I live in Beaver.
That sounds
and
crazy.
they're doing a cracker plant in Beaver. Not as if they didn't have enough there, but there's but they built this whole road, like this whole goddamn new ass street. It used to be a mountain and trees and shit. They took a mountain away. There used to be a mountain. They took a mountain and they built all these new ass roads. And in that same time, they built like a quarter patch of road on 376 because it was private. It was private versus the public sector or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, clearly, like, these funds aren't being utilized well. Like, I mean, like, why are we not like with the technology and everything? Like, shit, you see these videos where motherfucking like bridge collapse in England, and them motherfuckers, like, within like a day, they got a whole new shit set up, and it takes us 3 years. They still painting this goddamn bridge.
376 been under construction since I started undergrad in 2004.
28. I went on a college tour for IUP. I went to go visit that shit, and they were like, yeah, 28, yeah, it's under construction. It should be, you know, finished. Motherfucker, they just finished that shit like last year, and then they just shut it down again because, like, some other bullshit. Like so with transportation.
A hot button issue for
I think you hit a chord here.
Listen, man. Transportation
demon over there.
And then the bus system, like, the bus system, like, we didn't get no mass transit system in this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Y'all
like,
need a train. Like, y'all need something to run.
We got bike
downtown
lanes. They're not integrated very well, and like there's no mass transit system. It can only go to a certain point in the city at certain times. So if you live anywhere outside of like fucking Highland Park, you can't really go. And if you work anywhere past 9 o'clock, you're done. So I'm sorry.
No, let it out.
Man.
He's ticked off almost everything everybody mentioned here. We didn't even need to do something. We could have spent 10 minutes with you and covered the whole thing.
Have another beer.
I don't think, look, I done had 215 episodes worth of beers with him, and transportation is always an issue. So people come, they're raising these issues. What are we doing, or how does the conference lend itself to resolution? Like, are you... Like, how do you go about?
Well, I mean, you got to get everybody on. The purpose of the summit is let's get it all out there. Let's find out what's on everybody's mind, and let's set some priorities. Let's figure out what's real. What are the big? And there's a lot of issues, and you ticked off. I don't know, most of them right there. I think you covered the whole. You covered the whole lot. But you got to decide, because you only have so much resources at any given time. How do you attack that? What do you do first? What are the big things that are going to make the biggest difference for the region? And that's what we really challenged everybody, and we're continuing to challenge people. I mean, the big event was last week, but we've got more coming up, and we're going to be trying to get more input as we go along. But how do you set priorities? What are the big projects we could do that would make the big difference to really change things here? Parkway West out to the airport, one of the most congested highways in the United States of America. Certainly the most congested here.
I want Mike Potter's in the building. I just want him to hear that, because I be showing up to meetings late, and he'd be like, "What, bro?" I'd be like, "Listen, man, you like my commute. I'm coming from Beaver. My commute is anywhere from a half hour to 90 minutes."
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Bro, I live around the corner, and my commute to work is anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 days. I work in Shady Side. Can we do something about PJ McArdle? That don't make any motherfucking sense. You pull up to PJ McArdle, you don't know when you can proceed into that lane. Like, yo, can I make this left now? There's somebody coming this way, that way, up the street. There's people crossing the street on bikes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, and it is. It's these are big challenges, and you got to get people together on it. I mean, I look at Denver, and they got it easy, man. It's flat. They're east of the Rockies. You want to build a new road, you want to build a railroad, whatever. whatever you
They
want,
also
right?
got some weed to help with the
Yeah.
road
You ain't
rage.
never
Like,
mad.
Yeah, that's
about,
right.
You ain't never mad about a long commute when you vaping in the car.
Highways don't even matter out there.
Vaping in the car, like fuck this job.
I'll get there when I get there.
But
Yeah.
somehow they got past themselves and they got everybody to focus. And they literally, about, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, they held a referendum and they said, we got to fix this ourselves. We can't put up with this anymore. And they had a lot of traffic problems and highway problems. Said, we're gonna do a referendum. We're gonna raise $8 billion and we're gonna float some bonds and we're just gonna fix it all at once. And that's what they did out in Colorado, and Metro Denver kind of reformed its entire transportation system in the space of about 5-10 years and just got it over with. But they had the will to do it. And I think one of the questions here in our region is, what needs to be done? And do we have the will to actually make it happen?
Well, I mean, I think, two things. One, I think like that's dope in that, because I think that like, and I know like that transportation is like the lifeblood. If you can't get goods and products into a city, then like that's a congested heart, and eventually that dies. So yes, we need that. But like, then how do we combat the fact that everything is a bridge or a tunnel? Like, I mean, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many lanes you put on 376 if it all comes back to that 2 lanes to a bridge. Then you know what I mean.
In driver's ed, y'all got to start teaching people to stop being scared of tunnels.
Man, listen.
Just shut it down.
Listen.
all right? Drive through, breeze through that tunnel, fam.
Don't slow
there's-
down.
There's no
there's-
reason for there to be traffic right outside of the tunnel and then free flowing traffic on the other side. This all could just be flowing.
It is. Those are the 2 lawless places, are bridges and tunnels. Ain't no cops pulling you over in a bridge or
Not
a tunnel,
at all.
bruh.
Not
You
at
can
all.
go. That's the Autobahn.
Everybody's scared
That's
of the dude on the outside of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, that-
ain't nobody sitting outside the tunnel.
That's the American Autobahn, man. If you like, ain't nobody gonna slow you down, bro. All you doing is helping somebody
I don't
behind
want you to
get
speed.
there
I
faster.
just don't want you to stop.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you still get the bottleneck, though. I mean, no matter how fast you go, you're gonna bottleneck that. So, like, how do we as a region, like tackle that? That's the.
Well, and these are the big questions too, because the other thing we've got here in Pittsburgh, you guys see them. We see them around town all day. Is these robot cars. I mean, we're on the cutting edge in the whole country, if not the world, in autonomous vehicles. And the questions that's on everybody's mind is, do we spend billions of dollars knocking new tunnels? Do we build new highways? And we start on those big projects, and then 5-10 years from now, the robots take over, and we turn out we don't need all those roads anymore.
Yeah.
So we're at this really challenging time right now to try to make sense of how is technology going to revolutionize how we get around, and what decisions do we make, and how do we make them? These are the big questions we have.
I'm cool on the autonomous vehicles.
Yeah?
We need to shut that down. I don't like that. That just don't feel right.
But no, your vehicle already is an autonomous vehicle. Like, it's a computer that telling, like, when you press that gas, when you're doing that thing with your wheel, that's a computer sensing what you're doing and then telling the wheels to do that and telling the gas. Like, you're not actually, there's no actual system where when
No,
you,
it's not like the Flintstones where I'm
yeah, like where you, yeah,
it
like
ain't
and
that,
like when
but
you're like
I
that's
can
a,
at least control
that's
the wheel.
no, you're not controlling the wheel. You're
I
telling
do.
the computer.
My car don't turn
That's
left till I turn the motherfucker left.
You got power steering. Power steering is you telling the computer to tell the fucking wheels to move. That's a computer, bruh. Yeah, I mean that is when your ECU go down.
But I'm still telling it.
Yeah, right.
Who's telling this autonomous vehicle?
The computer.
I don't
the
see no.
computer is telling your vehicle to do all that, man. So that's
you hop
you're already
your
a
ass
step.
in the back seat of a driverless Uber. Enjoy yourself. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm go ahead and drive mine.
Cool. I'm cool with all that. I can't wait until I can fucking pass out and then just like yeah, I mean, and just show
I
up to a
passed out
spot.
the vehicle and woke up in the hospital. It wasn't fun. It's not a good thing.
I see, because you ain't had the autonomy in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's what you was missing. But that does, because we are moving into this society where like kids don't want to own. Like, I don't want to own a car. I had to own a car because we have a trash ass mass transit system. But like in the future, like with the Ubers, with the ride shares, with the autonomous vehicles, all these things, kids. I mean, like our kids may be the first the last generation that maybe owns a car. The generation after that, I don't think they're gonna really like own them. They'll probably ride in them, like as some bought car comes and picks them up and takes them to the destination. But I don't think like them having to own a car, that's going to be a thing of the past.
That's an interesting thought, because that's like ingrained in the fiber of like Midwestern lifestyle between here and you always wanted to get your car going up. Like that's the big thing as a man. You buy your car, you wash your car in your driveway, you park your car in your garage, you shine your wheels. Like what do these young kids? They not gonna want to shine their wheels.
They gonna shine their Metro Pass. They gonna, you know what I mean? They gonna pull out the gold standard. Like I get picked up first in these streets.
When they start tiering the level of bus riding. Yep. But I guess that is a mindset though that is unique to this area, like the Midwest, like to have a car and not rely on.
Well, I mean, I remember back in the day. Of course, I'm a lot older than you guys, but back in the day, the car was the social media of its day. You had no car, you were not getting any dates, right?
Ain't no woman catching the bus with you.
I mean, and then in the '90s, they made it bad to even be in the passenger seat with the scrubs. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't I was like, ugh.
Being 19 and your friend got his car first, I gotta get in the passenger seat.
Yeah, be getting that shotgun.
I didn't save up this $1,200 to buy that Chevy yet. I'm working on it, but I still could pay for this movie.
Truth.
But you're right. I mean, my son's 19. Money. I can't get him to get a driver's license. He has no interest. He says, I hope I never have to have a car. I hope the robots come along fast enough that I'm never going to even own one. So this is a changing culture that we're all experiencing right now. The cool part about being here in Pittsburgh, and whether you love it or hate it, we are right on the cutting edge of driving the change. So at least we're going to know about it before anybody else, and we can all adjust to it before anybody else.
Nice.
And that's one of the great advantages of being here right now.
Got to get in good with the bots. Like when they take over, they're like, "Yo, we was cool though, right?" Like,
I've already. They're gonna pull up the audio from this. Fam, you can't get in my car, so I'm done. I'm gonna drive forever.
If you're listening, this is Dave Bracey. That other voice.
I'm gonna be the last dude relying on access. So we touched on transportation a lot, and obviously transportation terrain, obviously unique challenges to Pittsburgh, just with all the bridges, all the mountains, or whatever. But what other challenges do you see in the city that kind of are obstacles to overcome to lend itself to being really the most livable city?
I think one of the biggest things is we just need more people. And as we continue to try to grow,
want to hear that.
We need more individuals to fill jobs. You talked about the cracker plant out there. I mean, thousands of new jobs. Where are they going to come from? So, but that's something could be a stumbling block growth going forward for sure. Just people.
Yeah, I mean, because there's this perceived growth, but actual numbers are still pretty stagnant and even declining, right?
Yeah, no, you go into certain zip codes in and around the region, and they're hot. You talk about gentrification. That's happening there in East Liberty, or that's happening in Lawrenceville. You go to those specific neighborhoods. You go a couple of miles away, and there's ain't nothing going on. Mm-hmm. And and it's an issue across the region, and it's one of the big differences between us and other parts of the United States. And again, I'm not talking about the fast-growing places like the Austin, Texases, and Atlanta, places like that. Even just the rest of the Midwest, right? Milwaukee and St. Louis and Indianapolis, they're all growing their populations faster than we are. But it's not just raw numbers. They're growing a much more diverse population than we have. Yeah. They've got more Latinos moving in. They've got more Asians. They've got more people of every description moving in.
They can get real spicy food.
And they can get real spicy
food. Where are the Latinos?
Yeah,
man, where are they? We had terror on. I ain't seen a Latino since.
Truth.
There was one Mexican family in South Oakland when I went to Pitt. That was it.
No, that's it. In Beachview, there's a little community there, but we have actually the Latino community is growing pretty fast here, but it's off a tiny, tiny base, so there's really hardly any, and it's a problem. So companies here, that they serve the markets, customers all across the United States. They want to be able to hire people who look like the people they're selling to. Mm-hmm. And in Pittsburgh, that can be really hard to even find somebody. And so one of the risks we run as a community is these companies decide, well, you know what? I can't find enough people that look like, the folks down south. So I'm just going to expand in Raleigh-Durham, or I'm going to expand in Atlanta. I'm not going to expand here. So it puts the whole regional economy at risk if we don't start getting a much more diverse population, but especially a growing population.
And that's, I like that you touched on that because, I like to point out how various, isms are detrimental to the people that are espounding them. I mean, like, misogyny is bad for men. I mean, like when you're looking at the cultural effect the societal effect of these. You know what I mean? Like, homophobia, racism. You know what I mean? Like when you are, segregating yourself and you're oppressing these very pockets or whatever, there's a backlash. There's a thing that comes from that is detrimental to yourself. It's actually more beneficial to you to not be, to be more inclusive and diverse,
right,
because you are going to, enrich your region,
your own
and you're gonna,
barriers.
I mean, like, and like that, like there's the thought. It's a very short-sighted thought, and like, okay, I'm just going to empower myself and the people around me in my very small bubble and the people that look like me, because that's what it seems like we should do. It's a very packed kind of, old mentality of like, this tribal, type thing or whatever, but that's not conducive to a global market anymore.
No, and it's true. And Jeff, isn't it true the more diverse organizations are actually outperform those that are less diverse?
They are. The research shows that over and over, hands
I
down.
would have to imagine.
Well, I mean, that's that. Well, to Harvard, our little festival or whatever, Fresh Fest, and like, I mean, we've been, like when you have an industry and you have just a homogeneous and a monotone voice, then you're going to get a product that's homogeneous, monotone. I mean, like it's homogeneous. But like, when you add in more voices and you have like a problem, any problem that you have, the more minds, the more like, views that you have on it, the more ways that you can approach it, then the easier it is to get through those. I mean, and I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've really been trying to do. And I think the summit the other day was a great start. But, and we got probably the most diverse crowd for 1,000 people in this region, of people concerned about the future that want to get together and talk about it. But I think we can still do even better. Even as I looked at that crowd, I thought, this is really cool. This is a big milestone. But there's a lot more we can do, Jeff.
No, there is. And afterwards, which was exciting, is just the amount of people afterwards that left there and via, social media. I don't know if you saw the hashtag RNX75 was out of control. It was unbelievable.
I saw it popped up quite a few times on the timeline.
It was trending. It was unbelievable. And afterwards, the people that now really see their part in being involved in this that just have not been involved in planning in the past. And these are people that, there are some current leaders and a lot of future leaders from all walks of life. It was just fun to be a part of. And now you've got this sort of movement that people are just like, you know what? Okay, I can be part of this. I want to be part of this to make our region even better than we are now.
And we had to push people a little bit too, because I think there was almost some skepticism when we started to reach out. Because at first, we sent out our invitations and expected, oh, great, everybody's going to want to come to this party. Everybody's going to want to come and participate. And, not a whole lot happened at first.
Well, you threw a party in the summertime. So anytime you throw a party in the summertime, that's you competing.
Pittsburgh got to get everything done in a 60-day span.
Yeah.
All of it got to get done.
All my living.
But we kept pushing and saying, no, this is different. This is real. We need you there. Your voice is important. You have to be in. We actually called it the room where it happened. Or where it's happening, right? And you got to be in there, because that's the only way. That's how you're going to have a voice. And we said we are sincere about listening to anybody in that room, and we're going to try to develop systems and ways to pay attention and change what we're doing based on what we're hearing from all those people who participated.
So I now whenever you said KDK, and then like I recognize your voice now, and I was like, oh shit,
he got an on air voice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
He been on the air now.
Yeah,
he's famous.
He got on air. He's got on air mannerisms.
Yeah, the whole nine. I was like, I'm getting a lesson over here, like the young schooled over here. But I mean, so I guess having a background in like media and whatnot, how can the media in the region, right, like one, how have you seen it change, here in the region, and two, how can that be an asset moving forward?
Well, it can be a huge asset. Obviously, it's you got to communicate with people. You got to start talking. We got to have these kinds of conversations. And I come from the old days of mass media, right, when there were 3 TV channels basically, and a couple of radio stations. No such thing as what we're doing right now. In some ways, it made it easier, because everybody gathered together around the radio or the TV at a particular time, and we would have this shared experience or conversation. But on the flip side is you can never really zero in on the interests of particular audiences. You can't hear as many voices, and it was basically one way, right? We were broadcasting to you. Broadcasting was invented in Pittsburgh in 1920, so it's almost the centennial.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I might be willing to accept that from you, because you said, because you you aren't from Pittsburgh, right? So maybe, but you also been here for 40 years, so it's like
You man as well,
you
yeah,
know,
I mean.
Pittsburghers love to claim they love to claim the patent on some shit. Like they invented shoelaces, gum, grass. They be everything started here.
No, it's God's truth. It's KDKA, the first commercial radio broadcast in November of 1920. So next year is the centennial.
You said ooh like I know it because he said like I'm like yep, you know what, that's right. About 1920 is when it happened.
He'll Google
I
it
remember
later.
that right about then.
Yeah, but and here where we are today. So obviously, broadcasting and that kind of media was invented here, but the technology has changed so much, and now there's all these individual conversations going on. I think the biggest challenge we face, though, is not to just start zeroing in on one particular conversation or one particular channel. How do we challenge ourselves to listen to what you guys are doing and listen to what another podcaster's doing and find a way to hear all the different voices and make sense of it? And I think that's more on each of us as an individual, that we got to challenge ourselves to do that because we don't have the editor. We don't have the big mass media that's making those decisions for us. But that takes more work on the listener to make sure you're reaching out for those different points of view and challenging your own thinking and not just buying into what one channel's telling you.
Yeah.
I think the outlets play a large part in it. Like it's collaboration, like you said, when you talked about, Allegheny Conference. Well, collaboration is huge. Like you don't know who's going to be on this cast. So yeah, you might like me and Day, but then you might hear from someone that you've never heard of who says something that you like. Now you follow them. Like that's how it goes with social media and just being able to connect with anyone. It's up to us to introduce you to individuals. You may like what you hear on the episode, you may not, but we gave it to you.
No,
it's out there,
and that's important. And it is the fact that you guys have different voices in here is terrific. And we tried to do that even at our big event. You know how you go to a big event, you sit, and there's some people so you sit at the table with them, and you surround yourself with everybody you already know. Halfway through the summit the other day, we forced everybody to move.
Y'all do them icebreakers?
Yeah, there was some good. You love icebreakers. I can tell from your.
You got to do it. You got to do the right type of icebreaker. Like the icebreaker is that's a very delicate situation.
It could be a weird ass. You just be like weird as shit. Like looking at a motherfucker like, so is you don't like it either? No, I don't like it either.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm the guy who taints the icebreaker. I always try to make it. I'm like, yo, this is terrible. To my little group, I'm like, yo, this is whack. Yo, we not doing it. I'm not doing it. You doing it? You want to do this? I don't want to write my favorite color on a card and fold it 7 times. The fuck, man? I know how to fold.
We have people writing on cards. Now that I'm thinking about it, Jeff.
We're glad you weren't there. You would have tanked our whole event.
I'd have taken at least one corner. I walk in, I'm an icebreaker virus. I'm like, yo, nah.
Maybe it's just as well we didn't know these guys beforehand, right? Because we would have invited them, but okay.
Destroyed our whole event.
You just got kicked us out of the last one. We ain't even get through the episode.
The views expressed by Ed Bailey are those only of Ed Bailey, and Dave Bracey should not be held accountable for such. Although
except for the robots, you definitely hold me accountable for the robot shit. I welcome you, new overlords of the next transportation future. But no, I mean, I think there, like you said, just to go back to the to it being, responsibility of the listeners and things of that nature. I think, there's a lot of responsibility in that because we're in this age of it's a shell game now. Back in the day, information used to be prohibitively expensive to get a hold of. Books were costly, to be able to read and things of that nature. Now, and then you could ban things. You could ban information. This now, there's you can't censor any goddamn thing. Like I have a daughter, I'm on a educate, not censor. I can't censor. She knows the internet better than I do. She knows these devices. She knows how to work through all that. I'm never going to be able to censor anything. I just need to be able to educate her as this information comes in or whatever. Now you have so much information out there, and instead of withholding information, people are putting out disinformation.
Oh yeah.
A lot of that disinformation, and it becomes a shell game. It's so now we have to be, back in the day, like you said, when there was 3, 4, outlets, we were just listening and going, okay, this is a trusted source. Now
it is the source.
Now it's what is a trusted source? I mean, I think there's a more impetus on the individual to say, okay, if I hear this, I need to go back and fact check that. You know what I mean, I need to, is it a reputable source? Even if it is a reputable source, what's the bias? Like going through journalism, like, school, like, understanding your bias was like the first thing. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't think people understand that just in a general capacity, that like nothing is without bias. Any news report, Reuters, AP, there's a bias there because they're choosing what to cover. Right. Even if they're just giving you information and it's the straightforward information, it's still information that they chose to give you as opposed to information over here. You know what I mean? And
it's true. I remember when I was in my reporting days, and I did it for about 20 years. I'd try to start every day with kind of a hypothesis of what I thought the story was about that day, but I wouldn't go in thinking I know what this story is about. Then I start talking with people and I do research and I work through my hour by hour. I'm working toward the 6 o'clock news. But as I uncovered new information, and I would adjust. Okay, well, then my original hypothesis doesn't work, right? And I got to move over here now because this is more like the story. And then you get to the end of the day and hopefully you're getting closer and closer to whatever the truth is. But it's always in the back of your mind, even in those old days when we were in mass media and we were trying to approach it that way, that you never can get completely to the truth. You just have to get as close as you can.
Mean, what is the truth?
And nowadays, nowadays there's so many different channels. It's harder and harder to figure out what the truth is.
And everybody has their own trusted source. So, I mean, everyone trusts different outlets, and it's a unique time for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys are into a beer. I'm going to try this this beer that Port and PA came in. And they brought us this habanero atomic meltdown.
Oh shit! That sounds like what's about to happen to me.
I have no idea.
Habanero atomic.
They said
meltdown.
They said it tastes like like the Red Hots. You know what I mean? Couch Brewery. Shout out to Couch Brewery. They are part of the festival.
Couch did it.
They're actually paired up with Straight to the League. Shout out to Straight to the League. Another couple of good brothers. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You guys can. Have a little bit of
Shout
that.
out to Tay, man. He about to be a father. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a father, B.
Yeah. I feel like she been Ashley been pregnant for like ever.
Cause now as a friend you see the entire pregnancy.
Yeah.
See, back in the day, your man's used to disappear for a couple months, and then y'all had the vent, and his wife had a little pudge. You like, damn, bro. That's why you ain't been answering. Now, like, you see the announcement, you see the gender reveal, you go through the pregnancy with your man's wife.
I'm like, man, you still pregnant? Like,
damn. Yo, walking up to your man's girl, be like, yo, you still pregnant? Don't do that. Don't do that. You know that's a conversation he got to have. That's why I don't even like when they come around. He don't know how to watch his mouth.
Well, that beer's got a kick.
I can tell because
it does. You know it. You know it.
He poured a little bit of it for you. I knew it did.
I gave a little. I gave a little.
Gave y'all a shot of beer. It's called habanero. What did you say? Habanero?
No, it's called a
habanero meltdown.
Atomic meltdown.
Yeah, no.
Atomic meltdown.
It's appropriately named.
Yeah.
Here we go. Last time I had a crazy beer, my mustache was sweating. We talked about it. Here we go.
So tell us. I mean, I don't know. I guess.
The back end.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's the back end.
Yeah. It hit you in the.
Well, it's like somebody's like standing on my tongue, sprinkling pepper.
Ooh.
And they're still sprinkling it.
Yeah,
right?
it's still. Yeah. If my nose was running,
Johnny
this would
Pepper
clear up my
Seed, just
nostrils.
like, you know what I mean?
Okay, I can see it though. Pair it with the right thing, yo. This probably is fire.
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel just like I haven't had it yet. I'm still working through my last one, but it sounds like a beer that I want to. Ah, shit! Now this motherfucker.
Now the challenge, challenge. Look how I'm about to chug it mode.
While I get in there, tell us a little, because this is a craft beer show. Tell us a little bit about like how you guys feel the craft beer industry has.
Don't rush to this though. This shit
yeah, I mean, has affected the region, and how you see that maybe in the next 75.
I think it's been awesome, and you talk about all the different neighborhoods you go through now, and these folks have put together, I mean, just incredible beers, and and you also have got whiskeys. You got a bunch of different things as well, but the beers, it's where it started, and it's fun to see them in this Atomic Meltdown from Couch Brewery. You know what? It's cool. And you're not going to drink it every day, but it's got a good flavor to it. It's going to kick you in the ass in the backside there for sure. It's hot.
Yeah, no, it's hot.
And but there's so many of these different unique things, and people are doing it. I mean, it's craft, And it's putting Pittsburgh on the map. I mean, Denver is where I think it really started, there in Oregon for sure. And it's really, so I love the idea. I mean, every week, I hope they can all sustain and last because there's so many of them. And the key is just to make sure that they continue to survive going forward.
It's cool is that one of the things that kind of sets Pittsburgh apart that we hear a lot about is it's a very authentic place. It's got a lot of texture to it, a lot of different neighborhoods, a lot of different communities. And you see these breweries popping up all over the place, and they're adding to that. They're literally creating a flavor to the place because of the flavors of their beers. And that adds to the richness of the whole vitality of the community. And we got to do that. You talk about that, Jeff. How are we going to keep people? How are we going to attract people?
Yeah.
Having this kind of amenity and this kind of thing becomes really important.
Yeah, no, I think I always wonder how Pittsburgh's going to bring people, because the weather. Like, do y'all think the weather is the largest barrier of entry here to Pittsburgh? The weather.
Yeah, you know what? Talk about this a lot.
Convey this, bitch.
The good thing about the weather is we don't have hurricanes. We don't have tornadoes typically. So these big, major, extreme disasters, we don't have that. Do we have sun? Yeah, you know what? The last 4 days, it's been beautiful. And
do we have
3
sun?
weeks before
Maybe.
that? 3 weeks before that, we didn't see the sun.
Maybe.
But you know what? There are people that love the four seasons too. If it's sunny every day and 75, you get bored of that, right?
You can't have good without bad.
I can't imagine how to get bored of
good without bad is just the oblivion that we came from.
What?
The oblivion that we came from.
Okay.
Life, death.
Oh gosh, he's getting existential on us.
That's because he's trying to work through that.
What is this man drinking?
He trying to get through that.
I just
that done fucked up his equilibrium.
I just conveyed this motherfucker because it is that habanero is in that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's all the way in there.
But I poured some Kolsch in here, so I'm gonna see how because here on the show we like to experiment with flavors. Because the first time we did that, we came up with the blackest thing we ever did.
The blackest shit we've ever done.
And that shit was wild. Like, it was like a sour with some Henny in that bitch, and it was all right. So this is a Kolsch and a habanero. So to cut a little bit of that pepper, I don't know.
It's good.
No, I think your blend. I think you nailed the blend. It's really, it brings them both to life.
It's not bad. Yeah, it got the spices up a little bit. It's like a spicy bread. You know what I mean? It's like a.
See, I'd have thought you'd have just liked the habanero since you always yourself
there's
masochist.
There's a level of heat that I'm willing to, to drink. Now, like if it's on food, just you could punch me in the face all day. But like when I'm drinking, there's a nice level that I like to keep it at, and I think this is the acceptable level here with this cuvee. Shout out to Mindful Brewing for the Kolsch. Sponsoring the cast and whatnot, and shout out to Couch, shout out to Port and PA for bringing this out here and
shout
doing
out
the whole
to Trogs too we got another care package.
Yeah, they be treating us like college students away. I mean, like there's always a nice little care package.
I didn't give me care packages in college.
Nah.
I did. My mother one time brought me Thanksgiving dinner. She didn't know that I was pledging, and she thought I was suicidal. I just learned.
Oh shit!
She took out. My mother took out an insurance policy on me because she was like, "You weren't cutting your hair." I'm like, "Yo, you gotta relax, man."
I never got a care package, but I definitely ate a lot of food from people's care packages. Like
a real college student should.
Yeah, I mean,
I was okay being that friend that didn't have much that your parents took care of indirectly. I was all right with that. You didn't know your mama had another son.
No, I had a couple. I was like, "Where you going home? Oh, you going home today? I'm coming with you, my friend."
Yeah, I can't afford that plane ticket to my place, but since your parents coming to pick you up,
what they cooking over there?
I pack light. So
Nice.
Buzzy gave us the wrap up. So if we could just let people know where they can find Allegheny Conference, where they can find you if you want to put that information out. If you have any events coming up that people can kind of look forward to, if we can crash that joint without an invitation, that would be dope.
You're going on the invitation list. I promise you. Next day.
I got kicked off twice this episode.
It don't even matter. I'm gonna just show up and I'll be like, "Yo, I know some motherfuckers." Like,
I'll be like, "He knows me," and then they gonna kick you off.
I think that the best thing to do, ournext75.org, that's the website we created. We still want people to sign up, get on the mailing list. We're going to be doing more events, more activities, more opportunities for outreach and get more people involved in the conversation as we move through the second half of the year. So if you go to ournext75.org, you can register.
No, that's definitely the best way to do it. And if you guys, you both signing up now, I saw you with your phone. You need to get your phone out there too and sign up, and then
just call me out on my own shit.
Yeah, that is, man. He definitely sunned you.
God
and then you start
damn.
getting
Sunned you,
information.
fam.
No, that's all right. It's happening because I don't want to upset the powers that be. Go ahead. You look like you got connections.
I'm here, right?
To find polo materials. That is a golfing. That is, man. That shit is like,
extras for you
yes,
guys.
you should have. We like swag in this motherfucker. I don't know.
I'll take one of those.
I'm getting
True.
a sense of that. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Look
That
around
shit
the
look
closet.
like, yeah, I mean, that shit like, it's airy, like it's light, like, I mean, it's breathable. That's a breathable fabric right there, man.
It's
Shit.
like 95 to 100 degrees in here right now.
over here looking like a bum in cotton.
Yeah, we definitely should have dressed up. We should have. I feel like I should have thrown on a bow tie.
I should have put on nylon at least. Like,
Bro, I mean, I'm pretty much in an undershirt right now. It don't even matter. I'm all right. But they let the people know where they can find us.
hey, man, if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play,
Googleable.
and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. You can find us at arcadecomedytheater.com on July 20th. You can find us July 27th at comptotheater.ticketleap.com. And you can find us August 10th down at Nova Place at freshfestbeerfest.com.
All right, yeah. So we want to thank Bill and Jeff for coming through, dropping knowledge. As always, man, we appreciate you guys getting the conversation started. Hopefully, the city, we can turn conversation into action. Like, there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of room for improvement. And you got to make sure your voice is heard. You have to be active, participate, collaborate. That's the big thing. Is collaborate, man. If you collaborate, shit gets done. Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family, and we out here.
Epicast.